Today's meeting is the first since the conclusion of the by-elections and court-ordered run elections held last month in 26 states of the Federation. With the exception of 2 states, Enugu and Kano, winners have emerged from the by-elections and the rerun elections. Again, like the 2023 general election, the recent by-elections and rerun elections also produced the most diverse outcome in terms of party representation. 7 political parties won elections in different national and state assembly constituencies. In some cases, parties won elections in constituencies outside their assumed strongholds. We congratulate the winners. However, as we are aware, elections were disrupted by thugs in Enugu South 1 state constituency of Enugu State and the Kunchi Sanyawa state constituency of Kano State. We are engaging with stakeholders, including the security agencies. Very soon, a new date will be announced for the rerun elections in the 2 state constituencies. The main focus of today's meeting is the off-cycle governorship elections in Edo and Ondo states. As we are aware, the 2 elections are holding later this year. The Edo state governorship election is holding in the next 6 months. That is on Saturday, 21st September 2024, while the Ondo state governorship election is holding in 8 months. That is on Saturday, 16th November 2024. Already, party primaries for the Edo state governorship elections have been concluded. By the timetable and schedule of activities for the election, political parties have 20 days to upload the list and personal particulars of their candidates to our dedicated portal. We have trained party liaison officers and established a help desk for political parties. The portal opened on 4th March 2024 and will automatically shut down at 6 p.m. on Saturday, 24th March 2024. 2 weeks later, only 6 parties have uploaded their nominations to the portal as at this morning. We urge you to keep to our schedule of activities and avoid last-minute rush that may undermine your ability to successfully nominate your candidates. There will be no extension of time beyond the deadline already published in the timetable and schedule of activities for the election. To enable us publish the personal particulars of candidates, the Form EC9, on 31st March 2024, as provided by law. For the Ondo state governorship election, party primaries begin in the next 2 weeks, on 6 April 2024, and ends 3 weeks later, on 27th April 2024. So far, 16 political parties out of 19 have indicated interest in participating in the election. I urge political parties to adhere strictly to your proposed dates and modes of primaries. Frequent changes, as we witnessed recently during the Edo primaries, are not only disruptive but costly. The Commission cannot mobilize, demobilize, and remobilize our officials for the monitoring of party primaries for the convenience of political parties. Parties should stick to their proposed dates and modes of primaries for certainty and optimal deployment of resources. Similarly, political parties should avoid acrimonious primaries. Increasingly, the conduct of parallel primaries and the emergence of multiple candidates is a frequent occurrence. So too is the tendency to grant waivers to candidates who were a few days earlier card-carrying members of other political parties and nominating such persons to the Commission as their candidates for election. Some of these infractions lead to unnecessary litigations among party members in which the Commission is always joined as a party. The legal fees and cost of producing certified true copies of documents can be used more productively in other electoral activities by both political parties and the Commission. We must find a solution to this situation.
IPAC will ensure enforcement of the current Code of Conduct for political parties, which will be reviewed to accommodate recent developments not captured in the Code of Conduct. When leaders of political parties and political office holders live up to their expectations, Nigerians will have a breath of fresh air in governance. The performance of political parties in the 2023 election was a welcome development, an expression of Nigerians' faith and confidence in democracy. The lessons from the general election, the off-season governorship elections, and the run polls will give the Commission and the political parties yet another opportunity to review and re-examine the Constitution, the Electoral Act, the guidelines, and the regulations for the conduct of elections, and make necessary amendments that will strengthen the electoral process and the integrity of elections conducted. Election is the beauty of democracy. The ballot is sacred and sacrosanct. It is our duty as political leaders to ensure the elections meet international best practices and also hold critical stakeholders accountable. Vote selling and vote buying, thuggery, voters' apathy, and intimidation of electoral officials, particularly to declare results under duress, are still issues militating against the conduct of credible polls in the country. This leadership of IPAC will live up to its mandate to ensure an environment conducive for the conduct of successful elections. Accordingly, IPAC will set up a constitution and electoral act amendment committee to review glaring irregularities in recent elections and make proposals to the National Assemblies in its ongoing constitution and electoral act amendments. In this regard, IPAC will be proactive to ensure that the Edo and Ondo state gubernatorial elections meet the expectations of Nigerians and international community. So there should be no excuse for poor performance. IPAC will constantly engage INEC as usual and major stakeholders to ensure the success of the elections, and will be there for mobilization and voter sensitization monitoring of the polls as usual. I expect that the Commission will do the needful as we have always done before. Thank you. IPAC commends the leadership of INEC for the performance so far, and so much still needs to be done to improve the nation's electoral process that will drastically reduce post-election petitions and litigation. Just as Council will engage leaders of political parties on strict adherence to internal party democracy, in the nomination of candidates for various elective offices, which will in turn reduce pre-election litigation. It is unfortunate that funds that should have been deployed for deepening party politics and structures in the country are spent on avoidable litigations that distracted, disorganized, disrupted, and destabilized activities of most political parties and eventually change of leadership. Most of this factionalization and imposition of candidates are sponsored by notorious godfathers and reactionary forces from other political parties to ensure they conquer the electoral process. This must be resisted by all lovers of democracy in Nigeria. It is time to sanitize the electoral process, ensure integrity of elections that will reinforce citizens' confidence in the nation's emerging democracy. The state of the nation is worrisome and calls for patriotism to redirect the ship of the Nigerian state to the path of growth and development. There is hunger in the land. This is a trying period for our beloved nation. As leaders of political parties, so much is expected of us in brainstorming, articulating, formulating, and prioritizing and proposing alternative policies and programs that will accelerate economic growth, political stability, religious harmony, and security of citizens in the fatherland. The task of rebuilding the nation is the possibility of the populace, irrespective of political affiliations. We should reaffirm our faith in the fatherland and rededicate ourselves to the service of the nation. If political party leaders have been proactive in responding to national issues and engaging government at all levels on ill-conceived and anti-people policies and actions, preferred alternative course of actions perhaps the country would not have been in the sorry state. Unfortunately, we allowed partisan politics to becloud our sense of patriotism. This is what my leadership of IPAC is set to address in collaboration with leaders of political parties and stakeholders in the democratic process. The new executive of IPAC have painstakingly articulated and packaged its 2024 strategic plan of action to give direction and effect on its vision and mission for strong and vibrant council. It is hoped that this resourceful, pragmatic plan of action will not only rejuvenate IPAC, but as well contribute in rescuing the nation and make Nigeria safe and prosperous. As we prepare for the forthcoming governorship elections in Edo and Ondo State and subsequent polls, IPAC will partner with INEC and stakeholders in the electoral process to further consolidate our democracy and restore Nigeria's dignity and prosperity as the great arsenal of democracy in Africa.